Congressman Michael Waltz, Republican from Florida. Good to see you, Congressman. First and foremost, do you agree with the president's decision to shut off the country to new immigration?
Well, I think the president is doing what he should be doing to protect Americans by limiting international travel, which he was the first to do back in late January, and he was heavily criticized for at the time. We may all remember with the travel ban to China. And secondly, this isn't really a huge change in policy. The State Department has severely limited the amount of visas that it's processing, but there are some important exceptions that will stay into place with this executive order by the president. That's to allow agricultural workers when needed and when they're legal, of course. That's to allow some seasonal workers for our tourism industry, critical in Florida when that gets up and running. And that's to allow key personnel for in the healthcare industry as well. So there are some kind of common sense of exceptions here. But at the end of the day, the president is doing what he needs to do to limit the spread of the virus and to, from a federal standpoint, limit international travel. And I think that's appropriate.
Another big topic, the Senate has scheduled a late afternoon session today. They're anticipating approving an agreement on a nearly $500 billion stimulus bill, including $310 billion to replenish the small business program. It's badly needed. And just yesterday, sir, you signed onto a letter calling on Congress to prevent Chinese companies from receiving bailout money. I'm going to read it for the viewers. It said it has come to our attention that a Chinese state-sponsored passenger boarding bridge company has been able to bid on airport infrastructure projects in the U.S. Such bids include highly advanced equipment utilized by critical infrastructure with the potential to pose an economic, national security, and privacy threat to our nation, end quote. So, Congressman, how does something like this even get into the bill in the first place?
Well, look, we need to understand the bigger picture here, and I am banging the drum for a wake-up call for America that the Chinese Communist Party is in a Cold War with the United States. We should no more be allowing Chinese-backed state enterprises to buy our aviation infrastructure and other parts of our infrastructure any more than we would have allowed Soviet-backed companies to buy into our infrastructure. But the Chinese Communist Party is doing it purposefully. Not only in aviation, they've been trying to invest in and sell software into our transit systems, into our subways. Heck, I even am trying to stop our federal retirement program, the thrift savings program, from sending billions over to Beijing. Our military members, as they retire, are funding the Chinese industry and military that they may one day have to fight against. So we need to wake up to this broader effort that China is in economic warfare against the United States. And my fear right now is that they are going to take advantage of bankrupt American companies and companies that are struggling to go on a buying spree so that the Communist Party then owns key elements of American infrastructure. That's unacceptable, and it has to be stopped.
Sir, you represent part of the Jacksonville area. You get a lot of attention right now in the media. They're outraged, a lot of them, over the city opening up, the beaches there, Jack's Beach. What's your reaction to all that?
Well, I represent just south of there, but it's the same issue for all of our beaches. One, there's an element of personal responsibility, and you need to abide by the CDC and the distancing guidelines, whether you're on the beach or in a park, in a grocery store, or out on the street. I think it's completely reasonable for local officials to allow exercise, to allow people to walk their dog, and to do, to get us back to some basic semblance of normal life as long as people abide by the guidelines. If they don't abide by the guidelines, then we're going to have to crack down and close them again. So really my message is to our citizens, let's everybody step up, take individual responsibility, and play by the rules, and we'll get through this thing.
I got about 20 seconds with you, if you will. Georgia is starting to open up. I believe on Friday they're going to open up a lot of their states, even salons. Do you think Georgia could be maybe an example or something you can look at to model the rest of the country by? To see what happens there first.
I think this is going to be a bottoms-up opening, and rural counties are having a very different experience than the inner cities. So there's a role for local officials, state officials, CDC has put out their guidelines to enter into phase one, and as long as you're on the other side of that curve, we have to start allowing our economy to come back again. Otherwise, there won't be an America on the other side of this.
Well, we appreciate your time, sir. That is Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. Stay safe. Thanks again. Good to see you.